Flosstube friends, it's time for a special episode. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, and you have reached me. I am Annie Joyfeld Stitcher. I am here on YouTube as well as on Instagram as Joyfeld Stitcher, and this is my video and channel about cross stitch. And today, we are talking about Jolly July, or Christmas in July. And I have decided, I talked about this in my Friday update video, that I am taking on Jolly Joy-Filled WIP UI. So I am doing a combination of Christmas and holiday themed WIPs and new starts. Yay! So I'm going to show you my WIPs and my new starts. And I kind of have this rudimentary list, but it's not in any particular order to what I pull. So I'm going to show you WIPs, then I'm going to show you new starts. So, little bit of backstory on how mine is going to work. I know everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I'm going to have 3 different wheels on my Tiny Decisions app on my Apple iPhone. The first wheel will have, this I do know is correct. I have 17 current holiday WIPs. So the first wheel will have 31 slots on it, 17 of which will be WIP, which will say WIP, and then the other 14, because that's math, will be new starts. We'll say new start. So I will spin that wheel first, any given day. If it comes up with a WIP, then I will go to my WIP wheel, which will have all of my holiday WIPs, and I will spin one to work on. Whatever the wheel decides, I will work on that day, with my goal being to get 200 stitches into that project. Then, if it happens to spin new start, then I'll go to the new start wheel, same basic gist. There's only one day with an actual planned what I'm going to do, and that is because its birthday is tomorrow, July 1st. And so that one I know which one I'm going to work on. Now I've added in another rule, which is if at any given time I finish my 200 stitch, quota, and I want to bounce back to an already called project, I can do that. So hopefully that will give me some variety. Yeah, my glasses are fogging up. We just got home from swim and took a shower. My hair is getting longer, but it's out of control today. So it's not greasy, it's just still wet. And you can still see the gray. Yay. So anyway, thank you first and foremost for all your sweet comments on my last video, and I'm excited to show you my holiday themed things. So again, Jolly Joy-Filled WIP UI. So Jolly Joy-Filled projects with some WIPs for July. And I'm excited to see everybody else's progress. I am not going to be filming daily. I am going to maybe do my spins and my project information in my Instagram stories. I might not. You might just see it on my Friday videos. So, and there will be a video this Friday. Yay. So I hope everybody's enjoying the last day of June, and let's dive right on it. So the first project that is going to get worked on tomorrow is a WIP, and it lives in my little Diddly Daddle Designs in hand stitcher bag. Full disclosure, I have no idea how long this video is going to be because I like to share lots of details about my projects. Another disclaimer, I will have all the project information in the drop-down description box, but it will be in the form of a Google Doc link. That is what I did with my manias. It's much easier for me to put all of the information I want to share and not be restricted by characters. So check that out. It will be there later on today, I hope. This is Mary's sampler. This is by Plum Street Samplers, and this is a freebie off of her website blog. It is still available. She did this several years ago as a kind of, I think it was a 9-part stitch along right before Christmas. It started around the 1st of November and worked through Christmas time. There are 2 versions of this. I am doing the more kind of spread out version. There is one, this is the other version that has more stars, more angels, that has some text, it has a beautiful flower. So these are both available on there, and I will link them in my information. I'm stitching this predominantly in the Called For Fancy flosses, and this is on an 18 count Mystic Fabrics no name die that I got around about this time last year, and I love this stitch. Now, the other thing is I am considering participating in Finish That Stitch December, which is something that Sammy J Stitches came up with last year. And so if I get really close to a finish, I might not push for it. I may save it for December. We shall see. So that is a project that's going to be worked on tomorrow. There will be no wheel spin tomorrow. And I do not have a bucket on this side, so things are going to get tossed on the floor until I have the bucket. All right, so one of my other WIPs that I started last year, this lives in a Garon tote bag. This was their winter Quakers bag. They had some oops because the birds are upside down. I call them bat birds. And I love this bag, and I love the project it holds. This is by My Big Toe Designs, and this is called Prince of Peace. And it says, he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And it is stitched in only 2 colors. I'm stitching this on Autumn by Under the Sea Fabrics. It is a 36 count linen. And I am stitching it in 2 colors, as I said, Deep Forest and Briar Rose from Gentle Arts. And that is probably not going to be enough of either one of those. And it actually has a Garon grime guard. It's a beautiful piece of linen, and I have Mighty God Wonderful. So I want to work some more. I love the lettering on this, but I do want to have all of the lettering in place before I get to the beautiful, intricate border. So I did a center start on that, and I am going to need more of that floss. I did not judge that correctly, I don't believe. I have some Briar Rose, so I'm hopeful that it matches close enough. So yeah. This lives in a project pouch I sewed up with some cool whimsical trees. This is Heartstring Sampleries Advent Candle Ornaments, and I know that Erin T. Martini Stitcher is also working on this. I am stitching this on 40 count Mallow linen, which is from Witchelt, I believe. I'm stitching in the called for DMC, and I have a start on a few of them. So I have a start on Joy. I did these kind of as Advent, the weeks of Advent starts. That one is blank. That one is blank. I fell off the wagon on these. I have Hope, doesn't lack much. And then I have Peace. So I have a fair bit of progress that I need to get done on these. If I want them to be up this year, I don't think it will be this year. We shall see. We shall see. This linen is fairly tight for the 40 counts I've worked on. All right, next up, I have 2 projects that live in here. This is just a zipper pouch from Amazon. This holds all of my Barbara Annis that I started. In fact, it has the one I'm working on this week. And it holds 2 of them that will be worked on during this time. This one was featured in the, that is tiny writing, 2019, I believe. Yes, 2019 Christmas Winter edition of the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. This is Holy Night. And I am stitching this on 18 count Country Mocha, or I think Vintage Country Mocha. And I have a fairly decent start on that. Has some really cool like snowflake patterns inverted in the snow at the bottom, which is kind of neat. And these are just real classily stored in extra large sandwich bags. And then the other one that will get worked on is also from one of the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazines. However, this one I believe is available on Creative Poppy. I think I've seen it on 123 Stitch, like as a hard copy. And this was from the 2018 Christmas Winter issue of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. And this is Christmas Hair. And I'm stitching this on 18 count Picture This Plus in Fathom with the called for DMC. And I have him completely finished, and I've outlined and started filling in the hair. Now some of the like the writer ones that have a lot of detailing around, I think I might only do the bunny, the Santa, and the village with the ground. I don't know that I'm going to do all of the vine work. I haven't decided that yet. We'll see when I get to that point in time. So those are 2 Barbara Annas that are going to get worked on. Let me keep this one to the side because that's got my 100 stitch a day project in it right now. All right, next, this is a So Much to Love project bag. I believe this has 2 in it. It does. The first, I love this one, is by Brenda Gervais. This is Souvenirs of the Heart, Home for Christmas. I adore this. I love that pink door on that little candy cane cottage. I am stitching this on, let me find my notation about what the fabric is. Okay, 18 count sterling from Picture This Plus. And I have a fair bit. I have the snow-covered roof, some of the smoke and snow heading this way, and then the large green vine. I'm excited to put some more work into some of these that I really haven't touched in a while. And I'm stitching it in a mixture of called for and the DMC, just depending upon, or excuse me, fancy or DMC, just depending upon how I feel like it's going to look in the chart. Like if it's something that's I'm going to want variegation, I'm going to do the more variegated. I can't handle my hair right now. I'm going to pull that back. Yeah, that's better. There we go. Super cute. Not. All right, so then next I have a ornament that was in the 2017 Just Cross Stitch ornament issue, and this is also from my Big Toe Designs, and this is A Savior Has Been Born. A Savior has been born. He is Christ the Lord. And I am stitching this on Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie in Colonial Parchment. This is a 36 count linen. And I have Has Born. And I have kind of pulled my own conglomeration of colors for this. I don't know if these were actually any of the called for, and then I know I put in a color in cotton. I think these were, and I think I pulled in this really pretty color in cotton in Swiss Chocolate to add one more color to it, the palette. So that should hopefully be one that gets a decent amount of looking progress because it's an ornament, I would hope. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? These are all best laid plans. You never know what's going to happen to derail the plans. This is now bothering me because I can see my scalp. And I've got my rubber band stuck. Pause. And back, my hair is in a better situation. We had some crawling over tripod issues. Joyfield Little One wanted to check on the status of her iPad charging over there. I should have probably filmed it. Outtakes. Okay, so next up are several projects that live in this Be Crafty bag. I sent her this fabric and she made me this bag. This was back before Christmas last year before last, 2018, I believe. This holds 1, 2, 4 projects. So I've got my money's worth out of this bag. But every project has its own stuff in its own gallon-sized Ziploc bag organization. This is another Brenda Gervais. This is Mary Hollyberries. I think this is so cute. I love that Santa. So cute. I am stitching this on, let me see if I can find my tag. I think if I remember correctly, it's a 36 count mellow linen. Yes, 36 count mellow by Picture This Plus. I'm stitching it in a combination of the fancies and the DMC, just dependent upon what I chose. Which way is up on this? That might be good to know. I believe this is correct. I might be wrong. Yeah, that doesn't quite look right. But anyway, you get a gist of how little I have started on this. I'll figure it out before I get back to it. Oh goodness, I haven't had this one out in a really long time. So yeah. All right, so also in this is one that I just adore. This is Hands on Designs This is White Christmas Deer Tier, which I think is so cute. I am stitching it in a mix, like I said, of the called for DMCs. There are some fancy floss that I swapped in, and this is on, who is this on? Do I have a tag in here that tells me what this is on? Yes, this is 16 count Nessie from Picture This Plus. And I have almost all of the tiered trade stitched. So it needs some time. It needs some fun stitching put in it. It's a cute little design. It'll make a cute little pillow or ornament or something when it's finally finished. And then I actually get around to FFOing it. So then also in here is a chart that was a freebie. It still is maybe a freebie, I think. I don't have a picture of it, but it is Chicken Joy by Stitching with the Housewives. I believe it was on Priscilla's blog. I will link that below. I'll try to link and see if I can find it, but it was called Chicken Joy. And I'm stitching it on 20 count charcoal Aida. And I had seen someone on Instagram stitching it with a pink tree, and I just knew I had to do that. So I took a cue from that stitcher and grabbed Weeks Dye Works Crepe Myrtle to stitch my tree. And this is what I have so far, is the outline of the tree, the snow-covered tree. So again, this is should not take me too terribly long. Shouldn't. It's all about starting and whipping and all of those things. All right, and last in this bag, I probably should have pre-opened all the Ziploc bags. I apologize if that is bothersome to you, is Little House Needleworks Bethlehem. I love this one too. And this is on a piece of, at one point in time, oh, here we go, 18 count Mystic Fabrics. It's a mystery die. I was about to say, at one time, I was really good about putting all of my, like, on a little piece of paper or something in there. Okay, so I did a center start on this, and I have these letters. I obviously know that these letters are huge, but it's like deceiving when it's real small on the chart like that. No, they're huge. Anyway, so this is fun to stitch. I think this is Blue Corn. Yeah, Blue Corn, which I love to stitch with Blue Corn. So that's super fun. I did a little bit of some color converting when I kitted this up at my LNS like forever and a day ago. And so when I get closer to a finish, I will share it. But namely, I think I changed the Angel's dress to like pink and swapped out like a couple of other colors. So that was 4 more from this project bag. And I have little one coming in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, because I am filming this in the afternoon. Mr. Joyfield's either on his way to work. Yeah, he is on his way to work. He was doing a plumbing call with his dad this morning. All right, this next project lives in a bag that I sewed that is one of my most favorites. One, it has sparkly navy fabric, and I used one of my finished stitches as the front of the project bag. And this is one of my favorite fully finished items. This is Merry and Bright by Ship's Manor, Merry and Bright Sal. And I stitched it with all the called for on 18 count navy Aida. This is a super, super fun stitch. I enjoyed every single stitch in this project. So fun and so bright. And this holds one of my first foray into kind of the more Russian, Ukrainian, Eastern European style of cross stitch that has all the back stitch and the blends and the half stitch. But I loved this chart and knew I had to find some way to do it. This is, it's called Mouse King and Queen, and it's from Little Room in the Attic. And that is on Etsy. I will link it below. And let me see. I am stitching it on a piece of 28 count even weave from Garibaldi's Needlework in Lapis. This was a piece that was sent to me by Jennifer Upton. And I love it. Come to find out, their even weave is Monaco. So of course I love it. And I had pulled this out several times after initially starting it because I was enjoying it so much. I love the 28 count. I love it. I've got to get my hand, I have some plain white. I need to try my hand at dyeing it. Because I'd love some like charcoal. But I've started working through some of the colors and just like kind of methodically going through. Now, one thing I will say about her charts, which I love and I think is very thoughtful, is that there's a chart that shows the stitches only, a chart that shows the back stitches like in color over the stitches, and then there's one with like color stitches, black and white stitches, and then black and white stitches with the colored back stitch overlay. I'm trying to remember how it is, but it's very detailed, so it kind of makes sense. I haven't obviously gotten to that step yet. I think you back stitch kind of towards the end. But I'm excited to spend some more time on that. All right,
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri just wants to be part of the video. Like, let's be honest. Okay, so next up, I have a Garon tote bag. This is Acrobat Santa bag because it was an oops and the Santa's upside down, so he's an acrobat. He's Acrobat Santa bag. And this one holds my Doreen Jones Nativity Finger Puppets. And this is available in her Etsy shop as a PDF. And I'm stitching this on 18 count antique white Aida. Got strings. And I have a bit of a start and progress on Mary. So I was working through Mary's blue, and then I've started outlining the white to come back and fill that in. These are going to take me 100,000 years. 100,000 years. And again, I've mentioned this before in my videos. I have to be in the right mindset for big blocks of color. And that's stiff antique white Aida. And I have not been lately. So it came out, I think, once when I needed blue stitches for a project or a prompt, I think. But then not since then. Next up is a So Much to Love bag. And this one holds a beautiful chart by Madame Chantilly. This is the Celebrate Christmas. It is her Christmas themed tiered tray. And I actually had started this, and then I ended up with a restart because I did not like the fabric that I had started it on. So the fabric that I'm currently working through, let me see if I can find the tag. I believe it is a Luminous Fiber Arts, yes. It's 36 count linen from Luminous Fiber Arts in Snow Day. And I have a okay start. It's not much, but I did do it in complete restart. So I have this is a center start with the Santa sack and part of that middle tiered tray hole. And to be perfectly honest, I still wasn't over the moon about this choice of linen. I might be restarting it again. We shall see. Because I love this piece and I want it to be fun to stitch on. The first fabric was terrible. It was a wonky Aida. I don't normally say that about Aida, but it was like I kept missing the hole by one string. It was extra floppy. It was weird too because it was a Pictureless Plus, and I usually never have an issue with Pictureless Plus. So I chucked that. I was like, nope, So I had this beautiful piece of linen, but I'm not enjoying it. So, and that's why I think it hasn't come out anymore. So it might get a restart. In fact, I'm going to put that to the side and give some thought today to picking from my massive stash. Because I think that could be really pretty on an even weave. I love stitching on the even weaves. I like linen. I like Aida. And I like even weave. So it just depends on kind of what I'm feeling. And I think that could be really pretty on like a 28 count even weave or a 32 count even weave. And I've got some good colors. We'll see. All right, so next up is a WIP that's going to be a restart. It's going to be a third restart on this project. So this is Plum Street Samplers Rack Stack. So I started this the first time on... I have like multiple stickers on here. A linen. I think it was a 32 count. Yeah. 32 count Riviera Aqua linen. Woo. which was, I think, a Witcholt, and it was stiff. Oh my gosh, it could have stood up on its own. Disliked. It was a beautiful color. Disliked it. Then I swapped it over and was going to do it over 1 on 25 count water sapphire. Lugana. 25 count over 1. So tiny. Started it. I didn't like it. I don't mind the over 1, but I want to enjoy stitching these. So I am going to put it on the 18 count Fathom because I had some more of it. So all the rack stacks are now going to be on 18 count. I don't know why I deviated from what I enjoy. So that one is going to get a restart, but I'm considering it a WIP because it's already been started twice. Although I never had more than 1 set of reindeer legs. So I've stitched 2 sets of reindeer legs and dropped them. And this is in a made by Mama Joan bag. And I actually even have the trim for this. And I'm stitching this in a mix of Fancy and DMC. Just depending upon, like I knew I wanted to do, I think it's Crab Cakes and Joshua Tree from Classic Colorworks, because the Crab Cakes is all the little holly berries. But like some of the other colors could easily be DMC. No big deal. This one has been out fairly recently. This lives in a bag that I sewed up, an envelope closure bag. And in here is my Satsuma Street 12 Days of Christmas. I had just finished the first day of Christmas. So when I start this up, I will be starting on the second day of Christmas when it gets fun. And this is on 36 count white linen that I had gotten off of Stash Unload. It has a Garon grind guard. And so I figured before I move the Q-snap, I'd show you the number 1 more time. This is such a fun stitch. It's charted in DMC. I am doing them as individual like ornament style. But I'm stitching them all on a big piece of fabric and then we'll cut them apart. So, a big piece of fabric like this is wadded up in there. I really like this white linen though. Yeah, it's a more regular linen, so I don't feel like, oh my gosh, Siri's coming back into the picture again. I don't feel like it's really a struggle. Okay, real quick, I have one more. This is a WIP / a new start. So this lives in another Be Crafty bags that I sent her this cute fabric. And this holds a whole series. This is the Plum Street Samplers Noah's Christmas Arc. I am doing this entire series over the next however many Christmases for my mom. Last Christmas, I gave her the welcome mat, which is a freebie chart on her blog. And it says, please wipe hooves, paws, and feet. It's really cute. And then I also gave her the crocodiles. We call them alligators because little one loves alligators. So I am currently have already worked on the giraffes. I think all I have to do is the border. And then I'm going to be starting another one, but I'm going to pause before I show you the start. So in here, here's what I have so far on the giraffes. And yes, all I have left is the border. Now, the only one that I did the checkered border one was the welcome mat. All of the rest, I am just doing the one brown border. This one has a Bitsy Bob. It's a really pretty one. I need to send this to Pam and Steph because it's a Charles Wysocki print, I believe. And this is a That's So Calico Bitsy Bob. So I'm going to real quick pause, clean up all the stuff on the floor, come back and show you the new starts. So, okay, so now we're back with new starts. So one of my new starts is going to be from the Noah's Christmas Arc 2, and that's going to be the doves. So I'm going to give her 2 a year, so I'm going to do the doves. Now, I am much further ahead this year, so I am contemplating giving her 3 this year, and that way I'd finish out the number 2 chart and going ahead and giving her honeybees. But we'll see. Last year I started both of the ones that I gave her last year in October and was still able to give them to her at Christmas, but I'm way ahead because giraffes will be done probably the day, easily that day. And so that's a good one for me to go back and put more stitches in something else on that day because that border won't take me that long. So that one is on 18 count. Well, it's kind of on a mixture. It's on 18 count pieces from Mystic Fabrics. It was a Stitch Your Own Adventure, so it's similar to Veterus. So I know that I'm not going to have enough to do the whole complete series because now there's chart 7 and yeah. So I actually ordered from Misty Cocoa, which is way too brown, and Veterus. So you can kind of see that this is browner and that's greener. So probably starting with chart 3, I'm going to start interspersing some of these in with. We'll see. I haven't decided what that's going to be like because I don't have enough to do all of them. Hindsight's always 20/20. Buy all the fabric you need. But anyway, so that was one new start. All right, so then coming into some other new starts, there's 14 of them, so that counted as one. This one is not Christmas, but I'm giving it as a Christmas gift, so I figured I'd go ahead and start it, and that is Plum Street Samplers Clementine. This is adorable. I'm going to stitch this for my sister-in-law. She had a cat that looks just like this, and I think she, I'm not sure, is so funky and awesome. So I am stitching this on, I basically just pulled, if I had the called for or close to it, it's got lots of pretty oranges and such. And then I am stitching this on a piece of 18 count Heartland from Picture This Bliss. So that is another new start. I'm excited about that one. It'll be fun to stitch. All right, next up I have, this is my hands-on design. This is Cranberry Christmas. And I specifically am starting this one. I will eventually probably stitch most all of them. I'm still debating. I kind of like O Christmas Tree, but I also kind of like Mary. So I haven't yet decided. So maybe weigh in the comments which one I should start. I don't want to do Cranberry Christmas yet. Because I haven't decided. There is a thought in my mind to just stitch the top motif, the bottom motif, and just Christmas and squish out Cranberry because I don't need it to say Cranberry. I know that's how it was charted, but so maybe I will do that. Anywho, I have pulled 18 count mystery kind of neutral Ada from Mystic Fabrics, and I will be stitching it in the Sulky pack. So it's 6 colors, and it is marketed for this chart. It's 2 reds, 2 greens, a brown, and a cream. So actually I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Cranberry Christmas, but I'm going to take out Cranberry. That's what the one I'm going to do. I think I just decided. And then eventually Mary and O Christmas Tree will come along somewhere down the road. All right, next up, this one lives in a bag that Mandy made for me and sent to me. This is Joy. It's a beautiful bag. I've already put the other one to use, and I adore this one as much. And this one holds a chart I'm excited to start. This is by Bent Creek. This is Nativity Row. As you can see, it's got a lot of the animals. It's beautiful. I'm stitching this on 18 count Colonnade from Color and Cotton. So it's a really pretty light gray. And then I pulled some really pretty vibrant colors, called for and then ramped up a bit. So it's really, really pretty. And then these are kind of the DMCs, or like kind of the DMCs. I think there's also Grapevine in here, Weeks Dye Works, Seagull, Gold Leaf that were already on bobbins. So then here's some of your neutrals for the animals and skin tones and things like that. So some of these literally only have like 6 stitches in one of the Wiseman's coats or something, but I wanted them to pop. I wanted the colors to just be vibrant on that fabric. So sorry, I keep looking at my phone because it keeps popping up. Well, it's because Allison Rosen is posting stuff on her D-Stash, and I have post notifications on. Like I need anything else. All right, this is a Diddly Daddle Designs in Hand Stitcher bag, and this is actually holding 2 smalls. Yep, 2 smalls. I have had this one kitted up for forever. Not with the fabric, but with the flosses. This is Lizzie Kate's Wiseman, Still Seek Him. I'm excited to stitch this one. It's a fairly small, it's a snippet. It's 68 by 50. I'm stitching this on 32 count Shale Lugana from Picture This Plus. And I am stitching it, I believe this is pretty much the called for flosses. It's mostly Weeks Dye Works. Let's see, I think it's actually mostly Weeks Dye Works. Yeah. And then 2 DMC. You can kind of see the palette. There's a really pretty pink in there. So yeah. That one should hopefully stitch up quickly, but that's one that I think could get saved and put in an envelope for finish that stitch December. And then the other small that is in here is another nativity. There's a lot of nativities because I love me a good nativity. This is Heart and Hand Double Up Nativity. Just come in a door. I am stitching this on an 18 count mystery piece from Bee Stitch Me. Really pretty neutral. And you can see there's some real fun, bright colors. And I did some converting. I had some of the called for fancies. I had some of the called for DMC, and then I kind of went, nope, don't have that, so what do I have that's close? Because we were kind of kitten from stash on this. I don't think I bought a single thing for these projects. So that's at least good. All right. Next up, this lives in just one of those Amazon project bags. This is Teresa Kogut, Joyful Scene. And I'm considering stitching this without the Santa. Possibly. We'll see. I will do center start, so I'll start in this general area. And this is going to be on 36 count tarnished silver from Lakeside Linens, which is really pretty. Kind of a purpley gray. And this one I'm stitching in the called for or close because I don't really mess with Teresa Kogut's colors. But granted, I did pull in some of my Victoria mottos that were close to the called for DMC. There is some of the DMC. Yeah, it's mostly DMC. This is, I think this is in place of 3865. This is Tusk from Color and Cotton. There was a Weeks Dye Works Light Khaki. I have Antique Red, which is from the Fabulous Reds collection. I have Hearts of Fire, which is a really pretty rusty burgundy red. And then I've got Old Mahogany, which is 3857. And then it's some DMC. So I did tweak it slightly just because I had to go with what I had. Again, I didn't buy anything for these. These were all things I had, fabric and floss from stash. Now, I will say that I have 2 Teresa Koguts I'm kitting up. One is Girl Boss, one is Joy in the Garden, Find Joy in the Garden. I was missing some of the DMCs on those, and I wanted to use the DMCs, so I did order those, and those came. So, but those are not getting started right now. Those will be like maybe in my birthday month, maybe October. All right, next up, this bag has 2. So the first is another Heart and Hand. This is another small. I think this one is so cute. This one will go in my little joy wall hanging. This is Wishing You Joy, Merry Making Mini Bear from Heart and Hand. I'm going to be stitching this on Picture This Plus 18 count in Jade, which is a really pretty mint. Let me see if I can get it to minty green, pistachio-y green. And then I just pulled some of the fancies or close from what I had. There's Color and Cotton in here. There's some of the Weeks Dye Works. There's some DMC. There's some classic color works. So there's kind of a wide variety. So the one nice thing about having so much floss is you have multiple designers to pull from. Yep. All right, next up, this is another Heart and Hand. This one, I believe, came off of her website. I believe. I had it in my files. I think it's a freebie. So this is Christmas Alphabet from Cecilia Turner. I will see if I can find a link to this because I think it's really cute. And I am going to stitch this on a 28 count Crystal Wren Lugana. So it's sparkly. over in Lugana. It'll be my first opalescent Lugana. And I took the colors and then I pulled some that I needed from Stash to kind of make it work. And I think I decided for the letters that instead of doing the dark brown, I decided I was going to do them in carriage black for just a little bit of a difference. Because I think they originally called for $838, which is, you know, a dark brown. So I decided to do carriage black. It's a little bit of a change up. I liked how it looked on the fabric. It's not going to be a very big piece, but it'll be cute. It'll be a cute little ornament or stand up or something. If I ever finish it, I have determined I am a process stitcher. Hence the thousands of WIPs. All right, this is a Garon tote bag. This is the red Christmas truck bag. This used to hold Prairie School or Christmas Tree Farm, but it got finished last month. And this has 2 projects in it. So the first, another nativity. This is Country Cottage Needleworks, the nativity, which I think is really cute. I'm stitching this on a piece of 18 count Be Stitch Me. It's unnamed. It's a pretty gray. And as you can see, I have pulled, they're on a ring so I can show you. I pulled from my fancies for this. So, real pretty palette of colors. And there's a couple of the DMCs that were in browns and stuff that I just kept it what was called for. I swear that putting the stuff back in the bag is the part of this that takes the longest. Oy. Alright, one more in here. This is another freebie. This was off of Plum Street Sampler's blog. She has so many good ones. Go run. And this one, it literally calls for a black, a brown, 2 reds, a green, a gold, and a white. So I got to kind of do my pick of colors. And it says, long lay the world, and so he came, with these precious striped trees and a little cardinal. I loved this. And I'm going to be stitching this on this 40 count linen from XJU in light beige brown with some pretty colors. Now the black is literally for the cardinal's eye, and then I have 3371 for the trunks of the trees, I believe, or something. I think I'm doing all of the words. Okay, hold on. This is not supposed to even be in this project bag. Caramel Brownie is the tree trunks. That's Color and Cotton. Then we've got Color and Cotton Natural Cotton for the stripes of the trees. Cranberry is going to be all of the lettering. The Cardinal is going to be in Bing Cherry. And then I've got for the green, Mistletoe, also from Color and Cotton. And then for the star, I've got Classic Colorworks Queen Bee. That 3371 I was actually looking for to go in another project. And I can go put it in there when I'm done. It does not belong in here. Got scooped up. Yes. Okay. Okay, shh. Alright, 3 more bags. Alright, next up, we have a chart from the trilogy. This is Nativity Lineup. I'm going to be stitching this on 27 count Linda from Be Stitch Me and Outback Jack. So I found a use for Outback Jack in the Linda. And it has, I kind of went close to the called for, pulled some fancies for some of them, pulled some of just the DMC. I wanted the fabric to kind of be highlighted and the colors were looking good with it. So just went with it. Oy vey. Okay, so 2 more. Sneaky's coming, trying to get on the video, and she knows how I feel about that. All right, 2 more. And it's just be quiet. All right, so next up, this is Christmas Time Sewing Roll from Pineberry Lane. I purchased this off of Stash Unload. This was a Dying Fur Cross Stitch Quaint Country Ladies kit from 2019. I love St. Lucia, and so I was super excited to stitch this. It actually comes with some beautiful linen from R&R in Winter's Brew. It came with all of the flosses on a floss card. It's a really pretty palette. And it came with the items to finish, both the quilter's cotton and the wool. All right, last but certainly not least is the Lizzie Kate Holly and Hearts Mystery Sampler Club. So this was a series of 3 charts. You can still get them on, I've seen them on 123 Stitch. I purchased stuff off of a seller from Stash Unload. This is the finished chart. It has a quote from Christmas Carol that says, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all through the year." So it was stitched in 3 parts. I'm going to probably just do a center start. I am stitching this in the called for flosses, which are really lovely, on 18 count earthen from Picture This Plus. So a really pretty pinky neutral. So I'm super excited to start all of these to work on my WIPs. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. I am excited to work on Mary Sampler tomorrow, and I'll have some others to show you and update you on come Friday's video. I hope that you are having a great last day of June. It's going to be sweltering hot today and tomorrow here. And I wish you a happy start to your July, whether it be a jolly July, a Christmas in July, or just a really hot July. So long, stitch well. I'll see you soon, my friends. Goodbye.